I am 69 years old and I am done staying silent. I am done letting society tell me what I should feel, what I should want, and what I should be ashamed of. Because let me tell you something that nobody in your family will ever tell you. Something that doctors whisper about but never say out loud. Something that your mother never explained and your grandmother took to her grave. I am standing here today at 69 years old telling you the raw, unfiltered, absolutely shocking truth about what happens to a woman's desire after she crosses 60. And if you think desire dies with age, if you think that a woman over 60 is supposed to sit quietly in a corner and forget that she is a living, breathing human being with needs and wants and fire still burning inside her, then you are living in the biggest lie that society has ever created. Because I woke up one morning after my 60th birthday and I realized something that changed my entire life forever. I realized that everything I had been told about being a woman was wrong, every single thing. And I am here today to tear down every wall, every shame, every silence, every lie that has been keeping women like you trapped in a prison of guilt and confusion, because you deserve the truth, you deserve freedom, and you deserve to know that what you are feeling is not strange, it is not wrong, it is not something to be ashamed of. It is the most natural and powerful awakening that a woman can ever experience. And I lived it, I breathed it, I felt it with every cell of my body. And today I am going to share with you exactly what nobody else has the courage to say. So stay with me, because what I am about to tell you will change the way you see yourself, your body, your relationships, and your entire life forever. And I promise you that by the time I finish speaking, you will understand why so many women over 60 are actually the most alive, the most passionate, and the most deeply connected to themselves than they have ever been in their entire lives. And this is not some fantasy. This is not some motivational speech. This is real life truth from a real woman who has walked through the fire and come out on the other side glowing. And I want that for you too. Let me take you back to when I was in my 30s and 40s, because understanding where I was is the only way you will truly understand where I am now, and why what happened after 60 felt like someone finally turned the lights on after decades of living in the dark. When I was younger, I was constantly afraid of pregnancy, afraid of what my husband would think, afraid of what society would say, afraid of my own body, afraid of my own feelings, afraid of wanting too much, afraid of being too much. And that fear lived inside me every single day like a heavy stone sitting on my chest, making it impossible to breathe freely, or love freely, or simply exist freely as a woman. And I know I am not alone in this, because I have spoken to hundreds of women across my life, and every single one of them has described the exact same invisible prison, the same guilt, the same silence, the same performance of happiness while secretly feeling disconnected from their own bodies and their own desires. And what nobody tells you is that this fear, this silence, this guilt does not disappear on its own. It builds up over decades until one day something cracks open inside you and everything you suppress starts demanding to be heard. And for me, that crack happened right around 61. I had just retired. My children were grown and settled. I was no longer performing for anyone, no longer managing anyone else's needs before my own. And in that silence, in that beautiful, terrifying silence, I heard myself for the very first time, really heard myself. And what I heard shocked me, because it was not the quiet, tired voice I expected. It was loud and strong and full of want and curiosity and aliveness. And I remember sitting with that feeling and thinking, is something wrong with me? Is this normal? Should I be feeling this at my age? And the answer that came back to me from deep inside was, yes, yes, this is exactly right. Yes, this is exactly what was supposed to happen. And yes, you are finally free. Now I want to explain to you the science and the soul behind what actually happens to a woman's desire after 60, because this is where things get really interesting. And this is where everything that confused you about yourself will finally start to make perfect sense. The first thing you need to understand is that desire for a woman is never just physical. It has never been just physical. It is emotional. It is psychological. It is deeply connected to how safe she feels, how free she feels, how seen she feels, and how much permission she has given herself to simply exist without apology. And when you are young, all of these things are constantly being controlled and managed and suppressed by the outside world, by expectations, by responsibilities, by relationships where your needs always come last. But after 60, something extraordinary happens. The noise starts to quiet down. The responsibilities shift. The external pressure begins to lift. And for the first time in perhaps 40 years, you are left alone with yourself, truly alone with yourself. And in that space, your authentic self begins to rise. And your authentic self is not tired or dried up or finished. Your authentic self is curious and warm and deeply, deeply alive. And studies have actually shown that many women report their highest levels of confidence and self-awareness and even physical satisfaction in their 60s and beyond, not because their bodies are the same as they were at 25, but because their minds are finally free from comparison, finally free from performance, finally free from the crushing weight of trying to be perfect for everyone else. And when the mind is free, the body follows. This is the truth that nobody is teaching. This is the conversation that needs to happen in every home, every community, every family, because women over 60 are not finishing, they are beginning, and I am living proof of that every single day. I want to talk to you now about relationships, because this is where most women over 60 feel the most confused and the most alone and the most afraid to speak honestly, whether you are married, whether you are widowed, whether you are divorced, whether you are single by choice or by circumstance. The conversation about intimacy and desire and connection does not end at 60. It actually becomes more important than it has ever been. And the reason is simple. When you are older, you no longer have the patience or the tolerance for connections that do not nourish you. You have lived long enough to know what emptiness feels like, and you are no longer willing to settle for it. You want depth, you want honesty, you want genuine warmth and presence, and the kind of connection that makes you feel truly alive. And this wanting is not greedy, it is not inappropriate. It is the most human thing in the world, and yet so many women over 60 feel ashamed of wanting this. They feel like they have somehow missed their window, like desire is something that belongs only to the young. And I am here to tell you with every ounce of conviction I have that this is a lie, a painful, damaging, deeply unkind lie that has stolen joy from generations of women who deserve so much better, because intimacy after 60 can be the most meaningful and honest and deeply connected experience of your entire life. Not in spite of your age, but because of it. Because you finally know who you are. You finally know what you need. You finally have the courage to ask for it. And you no longer waste time on what does not serve you. And that combination of self-knowledge and courage and clarity is not something a 25-year-old has. It is something that only time and experience and survival can give you, and you have earned it. So let me end with this, and I want you to really hear me, because this is the most important thing I will say. If you are a woman over 60 and you have been feeling something stirring inside you, some longing, some aliveness, some deep, quiet hunger for more connection, more passion, more genuine feeling in your life, I want you to know that what you are feeling is not a problem to be solved. It is a gift to be honored. It is your truest self, finally stepping forward after decades of waiting for permission. And the permission you have been waiting for is never going to come from outside. It has to come from you, from your own heart, from your own decision to stop apologizing for being alive and wanting and full of feeling at 69 or 72 or 85 or any age at all. because there is no expiry date on the human heart. There is no age at which your needs become invalid or your desires become embarrassing or your longing for real connection becomes something to hide. And I have lived long enough to know that the women who thrive in the second half of their lives are not the ones who became quieter and smaller and more agreeable. They are the ones who finally said enough. Enough silence, enough shame, enough shrinking. I am here and I am whole and I am worthy of everything that makes this life beautiful. And I want you to be one of those women. I want you to watch this and feel something shift inside you. I want you to close your phone tonight and look in the mirror and say, I am not done. I am just beginning, because you are. You absolutely are. And the world needs to see you, the real you, the full you, the woman who has survived everything and is still standing and still wanting and still gloriously, unapologetically alive.